arrest her, officer. She's the one who's dropping rocks all over the place in Pennsylvania. Uh, that,
I'm
that say,
chucking rocks.
that say a hope on them, and so she's giving people a sense of hope when none should exist. They're in Pennsylvania after all. No, I'm kidding. Uh, so, good
Hello,
morning.
Kevin. How are you?
I'm all wound up and got nowhere to go. So, how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
I'm good. And we were talking about your nuggets of hope, which is something that is becoming a thing. By the way, there's some person that looks incredibly like you that is on YouTube a lot and doing nuggets of hope with and just these little shorts and stuff. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. And because I was like, well, let's just give this a whirl. So I'm making a lot of shorts, and it's just some of it's just little shorts to make you smile. With animals and puppies and ducklings and stuff like that. Just something that makes you smile, because sometimes that's exactly what you need that day. You just need that little bit of sweetness. And to me, that's a nugget of hope. Just that little bit of sweetness. That's something that makes you go, oh, and then it takes you out of your mess for just a minute, you
Where
know?
do you get the puppy dogs and the kitties to do that? Is that something you just pick up online and look
I
at
just
those?
find them. Yeah. You
Yeah.
have to make sure that they're not, like copyrighted by somebody.
Yeah, well,
Is a little time involved in it, actually. A little. Can you tell? A little time involved. But I mean, I enjoy it. I do it late at night because I don't sleep well. So, I'll find myself on my computer at 11:30 at night and be like, let's look up some of these little videos. So,
you
and
mean
they make
people?
me smile. So
Yeah, so and if they'll make you smile, they'll make anybody smile.
that's
But
right. That's right. So, a nugget of hope can be all sorts of things.
so people actually go to bed before 11:30. I had no idea.
I I've heard tell that they do.
I can't because it's weird because during the day I will have several moments where I'll get tired and I'll want to go lay down or whatever and stuff. But late at night, for some reason, it's like woohoo, let's go, baby.
Me too. I hit a wall around 3 o'clock in the afternoon because
I do too.
I just because I go to bed late, but I still get up early. I'm still up by 6 o'clock and walking the dog, doing my thing. And I'm usually at my computer working, doing something between 7:30. And then around 2, 3 o'clock, I hit a wall and I'm like, I'm done. And you feel like you want to take a nap. But then, 11 p.m. comes and I'm wide awake. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah. Well, I I don't know how you do this, but I live alone, and I'll be doing this all day and talking to my team and doing the stuff that I'm doing, and then I will sit down in front of the TV. I've got a recliner that's there, and I watch a little CNN, and then a little, and then I'll maybe plug in a movie. Ooh, I just dated myself. You don't plug in movies anymore. You stream movies. It's so I might stream a movie or something like that. And the cool thing about doing that is even when I buy it, they can last me 2 or 3 days
Mhm.
because I fall asleep within the first 30 minutes the first time, then I stay awake or fast forward the first 30 minutes so I can catch the second 30 minutes or 40 minutes
Yep.
and and stuff. And then there are days when I'll just that's where will sleep and I'll wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Up, time to go to bed now.
Yeah. Right.
That's what happens when you get a little older, but that's really cool. But I love the work that you do. You've also got a podcast, which is growing, and I love the name of it. Give us the name of it.
It is called Let Fear Bounce. And I did kind of rebrand it just a little bit at the beginning of this year. It's called Let Fear Bounce. And then a little byline, little tagline is Tossing Nuggets of Hope.
Oh,
So,
perfect. I
yeah.
think that
So at the end of each episode, I ask my guests to, share what they would like to put out there as a nugget of hope to the listeners. And all of the guests have really enjoyed doing that. So that's something I started at the beginning of this year, 2023, and it's going pretty well. And it's fun. It's fun to hear because I toss it at them. I don't typically tell them I'm going to ask them to do that at the end.
Mhm.
And just, we get to like the last 5 minutes. I'm like, hey, I'd love to hear what little nugget of hope you would like to toss out to our listeners. So if you could just toss out a nugget to them, and they'll
Beautiful.
be like, oh, you know, but then they always come up with these amazing, beautiful things. And something, everybody is able to provide hope to someone.
Yep, and that's really what we're in the business of doing. Is
Right.
you can, I mean, you can be a sourpuss your entire life, and some people choose to do that, but I choose to, I want to be happy, and I want to give hope to folks that things are going to be okay.
Right.
Because we all can use a little bit of that. By the way, I show them the card that you are doing now.
Yeah, it's brand new. I have to see if I can. I don't know if you can see it.
I can. It's a nugget of hope. It's a card, and then on the back of the card, you've got a little saying. The world is a better place because you are in it. I love that. Are you going to start distributing those?
I am. I am. I was actually because you and I have talked before, and I've got my little actual stones, my actual little nuggets of hope. I still carry those around. I still hand those out to people. But I've been asked to speak at a rather large event next month. And I'm like, I'm not going to haul like a big bucket of nuggets. First off, it would be heavy.
It would be heavy, and you don't need that many stones in your life.
Right, that's right. And it's a rather large event, and I wanted to be able to have something that someone could just pick up off a table and take with them if they so choose. So I got these little cards made, and they're just little. They're not even the size of a business card. They're slightly smaller than a business card, square, little square. Think 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches square. And I thought, how perfect. And people can take them, keep them in their wallet for themselves, or when they're out and about, they can turn around and hand it out to someone.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful idea, and it also makes it affordable for you because those stones are expensive.
They
You
are. They are. They're not. There's a cost for all of it. But
Well, and what I really like is the card. You can put that saying on the back, but you can also put other sayings on the back as well. So you
yes,
can create a whole dynamic of a nugget of hope with all of these different sayings on the back of them, um, and uh, and create something that would be really cool. And I think some of my listeners would like to know how they can get a hold of those. But you're
I'm
going
in
to
the process actually of your everything you're saying. I'm sitting here nodding my head. I'm in the process of figuring out just what sayings I want on the back because I do want to make little. So if hey, someone wants a dozen of just these ones, I'm going to make up these little packages of them because everybody should, and it could be anything, but this just happens to be what I'm choosing to do. My little stones and these little cards, but how fun. They're already made for you, done for you, and you can, pick and choose once I get them all together. And I'll let you
well,
know, Kevin. I'll let you know, Kevin, when I do that. Um, when I have them all together. But yeah, I'm actually excited about it because everybody that I've given so far when I'm a little stones to, people are starting to people are starting to comment in my local area where I live because that's where I hand them out. When I'm grocery shopping or doing errands, and people are starting to. Uh, I'm the hope lady.
yeah.
They're like, "Hey, I heard you on, or I saw your YouTube, or I heard you on your podcast the other day, or because I also do a local radio show for veterans. I've been doing it for like 12 years. It's once a week, and it's on a classic rock radio station. And so I've been talking about, hey, I'm going to chuck a nugget of hope at you today. And so people have started hearing that on that too. So it's fun because why wouldn't we want more hope in the world? And I'm just, I started in my little slice of the world. but it's going to ripple out. And here I am talking to you. You're on one coast, I'm on the other coast. And what did I say earlier?
We can blanket the country with hope.
From sea to shining sea.
Yes, ma'am.
See how that is? I think it's awesome. And I don't know. I'm kind of jazzed about it.
Well, as well you should be, because I believe that we can all do something that's within our heart, and I don't know for a fact, but I'm willing to guess that this just magically showed up in your life one day when you were just and then the idea just hit you, and that was your inspiration speaking. Hello, hello, young lady. Hello, Kim. This is your inspiration speaking. Don't hang up. I've got a special message from you from the other side, and they're saying nuggets of hope, and uh, and this is how you can contribute one person at a time to making our world a better place. And I think what you're doing is fabulous.
When it pretty much mirrors what you're doing with positive talk.
Yeah, we are both doing the same kind of thing. Although I don't have any nuggets, I need to get some nuggets.
That sounded so strange.
I no longer have any nuggets. That's right.
Oh,
When you get to be a certain age and you no longer have your nuggets, then you know that it's time. I'm sorry. I could go on like that for like hours and
I
stuff.
know. And I could too because I'm cheesy that way, but we probably shouldn't.
Probably, probably not. But it's great fun. I love working with you, just us getting together and to have these little fireside chats are just really fun. And because you've got a great heart. Your heart is in the right place. I am hopeful. I'm going to put this out there. If you are a veteran and you're listening to this podcast and you want to know how you can support other veterans, I have an answer for you. Her name is right there. She does a weekly radio show. She speaks to veterans all the time. She's an advocate for people who can't be an advocate for themselves. And if you would like to support her and her work, and you have the means to do it, we're not talking about $1 billion. We're talking about $1,000 a month. If you have the means to be able to do that, and you want to support your fellow veterans in their pursuit of a better life, I can't think of a better person to be associated with than Kim Lengling. So I want you to pick up the phone and or to send her an email, and you can email her at
Lengling authored at oh my gosh, you've got my I'm all okay.
I got you discombobulated.
You do. I'm almost in tears because you completely surprised me with that.
Well, and how do they get a hold of you, my friend?
Langlingauthor at gmail.com.
Lingling author at gmail.com. I can often tell when somebody is real and somebody is genuine and somebody really means from the bottom of their heart for what they are doing, and they care an enormous amount for the work that you're doing. And I didn't know that I was going to go here either, but
Gosh, I'm sitting here crying, you big poo head.
well, but I've been called a poo head before. It's not that bad. It really isn't.
Oh,
But you are, but it's
it's I don't know how you feel about it, but I am I'm never comfortable with praise.
I know. I know. It's that's why
It's
we're doing that's why
it's
we're
hard. I
that's
mean,
why
it's
we're
like I'm just doing my thing. You know what I mean?
that's why we're doing what we are doing, because we are people pleasers and we want to please people and everybody have a good time and stuff like that. And when people I'm learning now when people say things like on Alignable, which is a service I've got like 60 really, really nice reviews and stuff. Uh,
Yeah, no, I see them. I'm on the Lineable as well.
and so people are really encouraging, and so I'm getting better at saying, "Yes, I'm thank you." And
I know
the
that's it's hard to just say thank you.
it
I
is.
always feel like I have to qualify it. Oh yeah, I just do it, and I have people tell me, Kim, just say thank you. That's all.
And for me, that's my mother talking.
Ah,
When because for me, it was always I whenever I got praise, especially from her, the praise went kinda like this, "Boy, you played a really nice game today, but" so it got to the point where I all I heard was, "But" no, 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 whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so and for a long time, if somebody said, "I wanna genuinely thank you for what you're doing," I it's easy for me because of that negativity that's in my background. It's easy for me to say, "Okay, so what's your angle?"
Y- yeah. It's that but dot dot dot. Yeah,
Yeah. "What's your angle? Why are you trying to be nice to me? Why are you buttering me up? What do you want? Money? I don't have any money." Whatever it is.
right. No, I get it. I completely understand. Also, though, I did want to say, since you mentioned the alignable thing, um, which has really nothing to do with what I'm going to say, but um, your YouTube channel, your Positive Talk YouTube channel, you've surpassed 1,000 subscribers.
Yay!
That
Yes.
that is exciting. I blow my train whistle. That's a win. No, that's
It
exciting. 1,000 subscribers. That's like a little milestone thing there to hit. That's awesome.
it is, and
Yeah.
it's 1/4 of the way to being able to, actually do what they call monetizing it. The
It
rest
hit 4,000
4,000 listener hours, so,
listening
um
hours, but you had to hit you have it has to be 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, right? Both.
yes, both.
So you're partially there.
Partially there, and now it's just a matter of, getting more people to listen, and, there's 430, 440 shows, so, you certainly folks I did the you you'll get a kick out of this. I did the math because, I do this all the time, and between Positive Talk Radio and My Independence Report, there are 900 episodes.
Wow.
You can if you started listening to every episode, you could start today, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You won't be done for 37 days.
Oh my god. Wow. So how many years have you been doing this?
I've been doing, I started, My Independence Report in, like, 19, I think. But that's really not fair because I took some shows that I did in 2003, repackaged them like
Oh, okay.
Neil Donald Walsh is up there, and Gary Zukav, and a bunch of other ones, and so I put those up first, and then I started doing shows, and but as you know, it is a journey
Yeah.
because we're all trying, and I don't know. Well, let me ask you. My whole mission is I want my podcast to be financially successful so that it can continue. Not to make money, but so that it can continue because of the work that I'm doing, and you feel the same way, don't you?
I feel exactly the same way. I didn't start the podcast to sit there and say, I'm going to become like this famous influencer. You know, that was not my mindset, and still not. Almost what 2.5 years later.
But
Um,
you're becoming that whether you want to or not.
I if that's the case, then it's organic. It's going exactly how it's supposed to go in its own time. That's not something I don't sit here and now, and we both know there are podcasts out there. They've got money behind them, they've got corporations behind them, and they just look at the numbers.
Right.
You know, this. You've got to hit this by this time and this time. Me, it's like, the name of my podcast is called Let Fear Bounce. And I want those that listen to it to take something from it, something positive, take that little nugget of hope. And I want them to know the main reason I do it is I want people that are listening, even if it's just one person that gets it, that says, wow, my life has been sucking lately. And then they hear one of my guests or something, my guest or myself might say on there, and it might be that little spark, just that little pinprick of light.
Mhm.
That's why I'm doing it. Let fear bounce. That's why I'm doing that. I have had, just like you, I've had amazing people. Gosh, ridiculously blessed by the people I've had on my show and the ones that are upcoming. I'm just, it's very interesting. It's interesting, the people that are approaching me now saying, hey, I'd love to be a guest on your show.
Mhm.
That I'm being asked instead of me having to search. So that was kind of, I was like, oh,
This is new.
I was pleasantly surprised, and people were like, why are you surprised? And I'm like, well, I don't know. That's just me. I'm doing something from the heart. I'm not looking at it from the checkbook,
Well,
you know?
you and I, one of these days, it'll come out exactly how my financial situation has helped me do this, but I can tell you this, is that you do what you do, because it's in your heart to do it, and I do the same thing, and it's because of that, that what it doesn't matter how many people necessarily are listening, that the right people will find you, and the universe will take care of all of that. I had a lady, a couple weeks back, and this has happened a lot on the radio show, because as you know, I do the podcast and I do a radio show, and she said, how some people, they like to get into their car and they will scan the dial. Yeah, I don't know if you ever do that. I don't personally, but there are people that there's a button apparently on
Yeah,
there,
there is. I very rarely do it, but yes, I know where you're going with this. Yep.
and she said, I don't know why, but I was just scanning the dial and it stopped on your station. I heard what you were talking about and I stopped. This was made for me today.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you're welcome, because this was, if this is what you needed to hear today, then I'm glad that you got to hear that,
Yep.
because that for me, that made my whole day."
Yeah. I've gotten the same thing from either something that's online on my Facebook page or I do get comments on my YouTube channel, and they'll send me a private message or something just saying, I needed that today. Thank you. And that's it. Just something simple. And I'm like, see, that's why I'm doing it. Right there.
Yeah, and
I
now
don't need
there
to know. I don't need to know their whole story.
no.
You know, just it's tossing nuggets out there, little nuggets of hope. And by golly, if more people did it, could you imagine how different the world would be?
That's my contention, is that,
Mhm.
is that we are is that ultimately and in totality, we are all one. And if we were to recognize the fact that we are all one, we are all brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter who we love, it doesn't matter what color we are, it doesn't matter what language we speak, that we are all the same and we are, um, products of the divine. And if we recognize that and we treated each other as such, the world would be a completely different place.
It definitely would. There's too much negativity and division and
Fear.
entitlement and in fear and entitlement, I think. Um I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube. I watch like dry bar comedy, which I absolutely love the comedians on there. They are hilarious. Because I don't watch mainstream television because I think most of the shows are total crap.
Yeah.
And I don't watch the news anymore because it's all crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been seeing though more and more, like when I'm on YouTube, I'm trying to find something to watch. more and more crap is popping up. None of it's positive. It's negative. I'm like, oh my, I'm so sick of seeing these two faces and hearing about them. Who cares? And I'm so sick of it's the same thing over and over and over again. And none of it is positive. It's all negative. And it's like, come on, humans. Take care of your own household. Quit looking out your window and trying to spy and talk about what your neighbors are doing all the time. Focus on your own self, you know?
And
Make your own little world a better place. Quit picking everybody apart.
it's not like you don't have enough issues all by yourself that you need to work on.
Exactly. That's what, if you have so much time to point your finger, you might want to stand in front of a mirror and point at yourself first.
Yeah, and the thing is that we are all flawed.
Absolutely.
None of us is perfect, and then that's okay, as long as you're trying to do the very best that you can do. And it's like, and I hate to come back to it because I don't want to make you cry again, but I'm going to because
I'm not going to cry.
because how long have you been doing the radio show on Fridays?
The veteran one,
Yes.
probably about 12 years.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this I want to tell you what this is like for her. She gets in her car. It's Friday. She goes to the station. She talks to her co-host. They work out a plan. She does this every Friday. Every Friday. She doesn't take any time off. She doesn't get paid for it. It's all done because she has love in her heart for those guys that that gave up in many cases their body and in a lot of cases their brain. Um,
Mhm.
over the course of time, and so she wants to help them, and it's an act of service and it's an act of love, and I can't think of any higher degree of anything than that, Kim, and that's why you are so special, and that's why you're you're going to be an 85-year-old lady passing out nuggets of hope, and they're going to go, there goes the nugget lady again.
Crazy nugget lady.
Little kids are gonna walk up to you and go, "Can I have a nugget of hope, please?"
But you
Eh,
know what? What a cool legacy to leave.
I was gonna. That's where I was gonna go with it. It's an absolutely awesome legacy.
Yeah. So if that's what people think of me or remember me by when I'm 85 or 90 or whenever, and they're like, oh, she was the Hope Lady, or oh, that Hope Lady. Awesome. To me, that is awesome because maybe it'll stick in their head and
And
then
what's the
they'll want to do something too.
Exactly. I wanted you to think about this because I do this because I love doing it. I love talking to people like you. I love putting out something positive in the world, but it's also part of the legacy that I am generationally leaving from my grandparents and my parents on down, that this will be what we're saying today, you and I will be in existence for maybe hundreds of years.
Isn't that mind blowing when you think about it?
It's a very, important, it's a very humbling.
It is. It is. I was thinking of that just the other day because I was thinking, with my daughter, um, I was thinking, if she has children someday and grandma isn't around anymore, because I'm not going to live forever, but then they go back and see a show like this, or they listen to some of my podcast episodes, which I'm closing in on 200, which is kind of fun. But
Congratulations.
all of that stuff that's out there online, it's there forever now, unless of course the internet just completely goes away. But what a cool thing that you can generations before us couldn't do that.
No, we're the first generation to be able to put this type of work because I've got a bunch of CDs in the closet of shows that I did in 2003. They're aging and they're getting, and I've also got cassette tapes, believe it or not, of shows that I did in even before that.
Yeah.
and they're aging and they're not holding up well.
Yeah.
Digital content will hold up for, for as far as I'm concerned, forever. And it's fun because my sister took her 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 family, daughter, son-in-law, 2 kids, down to Disneyland. And so they hung out at Disneyland all day, and then they came home, and, my sister wanted to watch television, so she put in one of my podcasts, which was talking about dinosaurs, and with a couple that have a podcast called I Love Dino. And so I was talking to them, and one of the kids was, like, 9. She said, "Uncle Kevin's on TV?" So, it was like, you know and they didn't watch it long because it's but it's just we have we have had an impact. We've had a positive impact, and it's going to continue. And I'm encouraging you to continue to do what you do because it's going to be it is just marvelous to do what you do, and
And
it's
I'd rather have what we're doing, have people look back, or family members, or kids, or grandchildren, whatever, after we're gone, and have them be able to sit and listen and say, wow, instead of sit there and say, look what grandma used to do. Some of the stuff online is a little sketchy.
I
They're not
tell you,
not being very nice about it.
I'm very aware, very cognizant of everything that we put up because
Yeah.
there's a guy, Joe Rogan.
Yes.
When
Yes.
when he, retires and is done and he's got grandkids or great grandkids, or they're gonna be people that are gonna be truly embarrassed by some of the things that he says because it doesn't make any sense.
And I don't want that to be part of my legacy.
And me neither, because
And
it
I
doesn't.
don't think people, well, look at the young people now on TikTok and Instagram, and I mean, look at the stuff that they're putting out there. And you're
And
like,
I
"Oh my
gotta say,
goodness, you know what? You're not gonna be 22 forever, sweetie."
and that's not ever going away.
Right. They don't think of it. And I actually feel bad. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, sweetie, 10 years from now, you're probably gonna be incredibly embarrassed by all that crap that you just put out for the last year."
Because it's going to be there forever,
Right.
and people are gonna find
And
it,
it could come back to haunt you. If you were trying, because you're in your 20s and then all of a sudden you're in your 30s, that's a whole different season of your life.
yep.
And in your 30s, you're looking at your life different. You might be married and having kids, or want to get married and have kids, but then other people are looking into you and they see what you used to do and post all over online 10 years ago. Their estimation of you is going to plummet and go right down the toilet.
Especially, employers these days, because
Oh my goodness. Yes, employers. Yes,
they will look, and
they do.
if you're doing something stupid, or doing something that is risque or something that you should not be doing, they're going to, um, conclude that you don't have the brains God gave, a rock, and so they're not gonna hire you. And it could be a job that you really, really are qualified for and one that you really want, but to do something stupid online is just not worth it.
Right. And well, it's, no class.
Yeah. So it
Nope.
is
Nobody wants to hire someone that's not going to represent their company in a good manner.
well, and yeah, and also that they not only are not representing them in a good manner, but they can go back in history and find some of the really weird things that you did and then bring them forward to what's happening today, and
Right.
you can lose customers over it. Businesses are really, um, taking note because you can lose if you have the wrong person out there who says something off color that makes a racial statement that they may think they're being funny and stuff. It's just so you got
I
to be
mean,
careful.
look at the world today. Look what's happening with just that. There tons of people are fired over stuff that they have online. That's from
Yes,
way up top to us peons down on, on the bottom of the ladder.
yeah,
I mean, goodness gracious.
and the interesting thing about all of us is that they call us content creators. which is, I suppose that's okay. That's they can call me anything they like. I got broad shoulders, but content creators that we are, there are millions of us that are
Mm.
now quote unquote content creators, but some of them are just in it for um, to try and create something sensationalism, I guess.
Sensationalism. Yes, yes. Which is sad.
It really is.
Actually, I think I think it's kind of sad. And it might not be that for everybody. This is just my own personal opinion. I'm not tossing any negativity out there, but I think a lot of it is people doing whatever they can to overcome some hidden insecurities that they have.
Or I was working with a young lady. I got to tell the story. Haven't told it yet on the air. I'm not going to give her name because she's still on doing a show, and she was. I've known her for like 20 years, and she's been married 3 times, had a and divorced 3 times, had a 2-year affair with a married man. Has been very promiscuous for a long time, and claims to be a psychic medium and an angel of God, all at the same time. And but then she got involved with QAnon. Do you know what QAnon is?
No, or I
QAnon,
might as soon as you say it, but it's not coming to me right now.
yeah, QAnon is the conspiracy theories that are out there that are saying people like Tom Hanks are pedophiles, and that and that
Oh,
there was a pizza place um in Washington D.C. that was selling children, and all of these weird things that they were coming up with. Well, she bought into that hook, line, and sinker. She's
mm,
actually had 2 different websites on YouTube taken down because of the content that she's putting up. And
mm,
she's going to wake up one day and figure out that none of this is true that she's spouting, and it's going to scar her for life. It's gonna be not a good thing,
mm,
and it's she had potential. As a matter of fact, she got a letter from, I happened to be tuning in one day just because I was curious what she was doing. She got a letter from one of the past listeners that said, "I want the Amy back from before 2000."
mm.
Because now she's into these conspiracy theories and all of this stuff that they're not serving anybody any good, and
Right.
stuff like that. And it's too bad that there are people that are going. But her problem was she wasn't a student of history, so she didn't know. She wasn't a political person, so she didn't know how it all works. So when somebody says, "No, it doesn't work like that. It works like this because you've got the dark people and the demons and the stuff like this is how it works," and she bought it hook, line, and sinker. It's too
Yeah.
bad.
I've often wondered why, and I don't know this woman, so I'm certainly not judging her or putting her down because I don't know her. But there are a lot of people that I often want to just ask if I was able to say, have you done any research at all? Have you educated yourself on this at all before you open your mouth? Because if you have not, you will end up making yourself look stupid.
And what you'll find is that a lot of people say, "Well, so of course I've done my research. I watch Fox News every day, or I watch Newsmax, or and I get on these, and what they don't recognize is if you have to look at everything in total. Yeah,
Right.
you
And
can't.
reliable sources. Don't just, yeah, anybody can get on the internet and read, but here's the other thing. Anybody can put anything on the internet.
Before my
So what you're reading isn't necessarily true. Find the true facts, and I'm one of those people that's like, all right, I'm going to do my research, and I will. And it can be from a small little topic to a big topic, but I will definitely do my research because I don't want to sound or end up looking stupid, you know, not
exactly.
having a clue what I'm actually, and I'm certainly not going to argue with anyone about anything on any topic unless I have educated myself to a specific level that I will do it. So if people are trying to shove their opinion in my face by yelling, getting loud, typing in all capital letters. I'm like, you know what? Your loudness is not going to do anything to change my opinion. You're just making noise right now.
And but your opinion is based upon fact, isn't
Mine
based
typically is, yes. I'm not just going to pull something out of
thin air.
thin air. I almost said something else.
I know. I was right there with you.
I knew you would be.
And but now you you pull something out of thin air and stuff like that, you know. It's like my poor brother was he's passed away now, but when he was alive, he did not like President Obama. And he said, you know, that he was born in Kenya and followed all of that. And I tried to point out lovingly that he has a birth certificate and from Hawaii, and he was born there, and he grew up here, and his you know and stuff. And he wouldn't even listen. No, no, he was born in Kenya. Everything else is that, you know, it's like, because they knew he was going to be president of the United States when he was born in Kenya, and so that's why they did what they did to cover up the fact he was born in Kenya, because he was going to be president of the United States. It's like, you really on you can't possibly believe that.
I'm amazed, continually amazed at what people believe.
And so am
Seriously.
I.
It's like, oh my goodness. And I don't know how many, oh goodness. And I have to literally bite. It's a good thing I work from home. Let's put it that way. I have to bite my tongue. I'm not out in public a lot. Uh, probably a good thing. But I've never been, nor will I ever be, a sheeple.
A sheeple?
I will never blindly follow anyone.
You can't.
No, but so many do.
Yeah, you know,
My mind is blown by just how many millions and millions of people, especially young people, unfortunately, blindly follow whatever the trend is, or whatever this person who has become an influencer online. Then they have all these millions of followers, and they're like, following everything they say like it's doctrine. And you're going, oh my goodness, what are you doing? What are you doing? Use your brain. I am so fearful, and I feel horrible because those people that are blindly following the crap that's just spewed out there, they will eventually end up hurt.
Mhm.
They're going to end up hurt, and they're doing it to themselves, unfortunately, because they're not taking the time to look into what it actually. Now, I know when you're younger, you don't think about a lot of stuff like that, but oh my goodness, we have so much access to everything now. Instead of accessing all the yucky stuff, access the good stuff. It's out there.
Exactly. Exactly, and there, even though the internet, you're right, there's a lot of negativity and a lot of bad stuff out there, and people making stuff up as they go along,
Mhm.
and you know, I'm firmly believe the more and more we go down this road, the day of the guru is dead, because we have to look to ourselves. And I know you talk about this on your show, as I do. You have to take care of yourself and look to yourself for what you believe and what you're going to do, and to take care of yourself and others, and to be kind to everybody. If you do that, things are going to be okay for you, I think.
Yeah. Take care. You got to focus on your own little slice of the world first, I think, which is, yourself, your own home, your own house. If you're not mentally and physically well, you can't possibly help anyone else.
No.
And if you're not mentally, and this took me a long time to literally a long time. I'm in my mid 50s, and it really hasn't been all that long that it's like, you know what, Kim, you need to give yourself time too. You need to give yourself some care too.
Yep.
Because I would just give all the time,
Can't.
all the time. And then I burn out, but then it was just like, oh, I'm just tired. It was way more than tired. It was way more than tired. And I found myself spiraling down into a little dark hole and realized, oh, okay, this is not good for me because I take everything on. I take everybody's stuff, you know, that I'm helping. And I'm sure that you've done this as well, taking on the weight of others' issues. And I've had to learn to set boundaries and be firm on my boundaries, learn to say no, and learn to say, okay, you know, I'm really tired. I'm actually not feeling great today. So I'm doing nothing. And
Isn't that a
I'm still learning to not feel guilty.
but it's a freeing experience, isn't it?
It is. And but it's still hard for me, because I'm a doer and a goer.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Well, you've been doing and going your whole life for everybody else but you.
Yes, and that was really hard for me to acknowledge, seriously. I mean, and people listening might be like, "Oh, for God's sakes." No, truly. I mean, it was very hard, and I know there's others out there listening now too that are doing or have done the same thing.
Millions of people, millions.
Yes.
Because that's how we're raised. We're taught to be kind, or we're taught to give of ourselves to other people. Yeah, and so, if you've got like you have a daughter, and when she was young, you were taking care of her, and then you've got the husbands and the house and the job and all that stuff, and it was a never. I don't know how women have done it. Or do it because it's a never ending thing, and they never get done till it's 9 o'clock at night and they're falling asleep in their chair and going, "Why am I tired?" Because
Right.
you've been working at it all
And
day.
what did I get done today?
Yeah.
No, I often look back when my daughter was younger, because I was constantly had other kids at the house, running them back and forth to whatever practice that they were on, for sports or cheerleading or dance classes and all of that stuff. Taking them to the movies on the weekends, all of that. Still taking care of the house, working full time, and then still doing project support our troops with my veterans organization. So literally, it was nonstop, nonstop for years and years. And I look back now and I'm like, how in the world I don't even know if I would have the energy to do that. I know I wouldn't have the energy to do it anymore. But it's so yeah, we overlook our own well-being, physical and mental. We overlook that too much.
I agree. I agree. So it's all. By the way, we're talking with Kim Lengling. Go to Kim Lengling author. Or is it author Kim Lengling? I can't remember.
KimLangLingAuthor.com is my website.
And you're an author of several books, I believe. Yes. You're supposed to say.
You
I'm
froze.
looking. Oh, I did.
Oh,
Am
you're
I
back
frozen
now,
now?
but I didn't catch your last two sentences. You completely froze.
Oh, okay. You've got several books out. One is When Hope Found Me,
Hmm.
and When Grace Found Me Again, real life stories of women of faith. That's very cool. And When Grace Found Me Again. So you've got three When Grace Found Me books, and now you've got When Hope Found Me.
Yep,
I love the premise of it, and you can go to Amazon, or I haven't gotten any books out. I got to do that. But if you go to Amazon or talk to Kim, she'll get you a book.
that's right. That's right. You can contact me through my website as well, KimLangLingAuthor.com. But exciting stuff. Within a few months, hopefully 3 months or less, still working on it. I have a new one coming out. It's called Paw Prints on the Couch.
What's that one about?
About our pets.
Oh, perfect, Pop. Oh,
Paw
that
Prints on the Couch. Yeah. And it's people, it's an anthology, just like the When Grace Found Me series and the When Hope Found Me. But it's an anthology of people. I think that I've got 15 people that are sharing their stories of their pets and how they enriched their lives and changed their lives. And saved them actually at times. And oh my goodness, I'm going through the editing process right now. So I've read through all of the stories and I'm writing my own, of course, in there as well. Oh, every level of emotion that you could think of is in this. I am so excited to get this one out, and I've been wanting to do one about pets for years and years. So yeah, Paw Prints on the Couch. That's one that's coming out. I hope to have that out and at least available on Amazon in May.
That will be an important piece because our
Oh,
animals, you
awesome.
know, when my dad died, I was very sad. 3 months later, my favorite dog of all time died, and I cried like a baby, because they mean so much to us, and,
Hmm.
so did my dad, and he would have respected, how I did that, but your dogs, when he looked at me as they were injecting into his, IV the last moment, and with such love, with such trust, and then his eyes went dark and he died. That was really hard for me.
Yeah, I had the vet come to my house.
I did the last one I highly recommend this, by the way.
Yes, yes, because the less fear that your fur baby has, and I everybody focuses on those last few minutes in that last day. And I did the same thing when I had to say goodbye to my digger 4 years ago. For 3 weeks I was inconsolable. I literally cried every single day for 3 weeks. I woke up crying, went to bed crying. I was inconsolable. And then I was just like, "Kim, why are you focusing on the goodbye?
Mm,
Why? You had him for 14 years, and oh my gosh, what a blessing. What a blessing." And I was too busy focusing on the last 24 hours. And there was 14 years prior to that were amazing and filled with nothing but unconditional love, you know?
and that's why that last day, you remember so much because you realize that it's not gonna be there tomorrow.
Right, right. But that's what I had to tell myself to get past the sadness.
It was really interesting. My dog Wesley, he's 14 and a half, border collie, could barely walk. And then he had an intestinal thing and we couldn't figure it out. And so we decided that it was going to be his day. And so I called around and found somebody. There's actually a service in our town that will come, and they have a veterinarian, and they will
Mhm.
look at the dog to make sure that um, you're making the right decision and it's not an
Right.
emotional decision. And then they will help take they'll see the process through, and then they'll take the body with them as they leave and stuff, so that it can be a complete deal. And I don't know how you get messages from the other side,
I get
but
little nudges.
yeah, I get messages through music. So I had the record player, or not the record player, but the radio playing, and there were like three different songs that day that they seemed to be playing all the time. Three different songs that said, "I'm going home now," or "Going home," or "This is home," or and I got the clear impression that what my
Yeah,
dog was telling me was, "Look, we don't look at death the same way that you guys do, and that I'm going home, and I'm excited to be able to run again and
yeah.
go home." So that was really, for me, that was really cool.
I had 3 weeks after, I had to say goodbye to Digger, and this was 4 years ago. And remember I said I cried every day, woke up crying, went to bed crying for 3 weeks. And it was 3 weeks afterwards, I had this amazing dream, so real to life, and it was all about him. He came to me in a dream, and I woke up and immediately wrote it down, and, that's gonna be in this book, actually. That it's a dream conversation between Digger and I, and he's in the best possible place he can be right now,
Mhm.
and he's like, and I'm a Christian. And so I firmly believe that he is in heaven. He went to heaven and he is with God and all the other angel fur babies up there. But in my dream, he's speaking to me. And I wrote stories for the last 6 years of his life online of his conversations with me. So this was nothing new to me. Um, but in the dream, there's one part that he says to me, um, something about, God knows that you're sad. Or I told God that you're probably really sad and missing me, and he already knew. He goes, but I also told him that you're stubborn. And he laughed because he already knew that too. And in my dream, I said, Digger, you told God I was stubborn and he laughed. And she goes, he didn't laugh at you. He laughed because of you. She goes, Mom, and he said, Mom, this is what I always call me, Mom, do you know what happened when God laughs? And I said, no, Digger. What happens when God laughs? And he said, all the souls sing. And it's as if all the love in the world is being felt. And your love is here too, Mom.
Wow.
I will, and this is all from a dream. And I had to immediately write it down. And I'm getting all teared up again now because what an amazingly beautiful thing. God laughs and all the souls sing. And it's like all the love in all the world. How incredible. And this is from my dog in my dream, you know?
And it was incredibly real, and so it came actually, I believe it came from him.
Oh, I firmly believe that. So, people, I don't care what anybody thinks about that, but because we were so in tune with each other, and he helped me through many, many, many dark times. But I've never forgotten that line, you know,
Yeah. That's a really special, really,
and
really.
that's just amazing. So it's that's going to be in this book, that dream conversation. Um, that's how the book closes out, is with that dream conversation.
I think that's awesome. One of the things that I try and get across to people, and I'm having limited success, some success, but which is, when people, I have friends that their mom and dad or their dog has died and or whatever, and they grieve for it seems like forever.
Mhm.
And what I keep telling them is, first of all, they love you. Secondly, they don't want you to grieve. They want you to be happy. And if they could be here, they would. They can't, but they want you to be happy and to live your life to the very fullest so that when you're reunited with us again, you can have some wonderful stories that we can share together.
Right. Yeah. My mom just recently had to put her little guy down,
Yeah.
and that was just 3 weeks ago. So she's crushed,
Yeah.
you know, and and I keep saying, Mom, I know how hard this is. And she's 80, and she goes, it wouldn't be fair for me to get another dog because the dog would outlive me, and
Right.
I can't guarantee that someone would take him. And everybody else in the family has big dogs. Mom gets those little tiny dogs.
Well, when you get to be 80, a little tiny dog with little tiny poop is a better place to be.
Yeah. Well, her thing is Shih Tzus. So that her last three dogs have been Shih Tzus, and then, we always the Shih Tzus. So we call them the little Shih Tzus. Um, but I was like, the rest of us in the family, though, we all have large dogs. And I
No.
said, Mom, you can't just assume that we would be able to take
No.
another. And she's like, no, no, I know. I've thought about it. But she's struggling with it because she's always had a dog, and she's retired, and she's 80, and she's home all day by herself. And it's like she wants something. She doesn't know what to do with herself right now.
Right, right. Well, for us older folk, because I live in a retirement community, that 55 plus, and a lot of people that have nothing, quite literally, they're all retired, They have nothing else to do in life, so they get a dog so they can get out and walk the dog.
And you
And
have to get out if you have an animal. Yeah, you have to get outside.
you
Yeah,
have got no choice because it's
right.
either going to do it outside or it's gonna do it inside, and you don't wanna do it inside. So there's actually a group of people here that all have dogs that have kind of formed a little community to where they're walking back and forth and they stop and say hello to the dogs and they all know each other's names and the dogs' names and all that kind of stuff. I don't have a dog because I've got number one, it killed me to lose the last one, but I'm also too busy and I don't want to have to, worry about that. And who knows? Who knows how long we'll live? So
Right. Right. I'm thankful for mine because and I've got, I adopted another one after Digger. Took me 6 months, but 6 months later, I was like, I think I have to do this again. But I got another big dog. I'm thankful for it because being outside, that's where I breathe. That's where I just okay. We're out there at 6 o'clock in the morning, every day and numerous times throughout the day because I work from home. But he nudges me. He'll tell me, all right, and he's starting to know now where it's like, all right, mom's getting tired or mom's getting edgy. She's getting a little antsy, and he'll start nudging me, and I'll be like, what? And then I'll be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, okay, let's go outside. So it's kind of he's in tune with me now. He's learned now. But I wouldn't have it any other way. And yeah, you do. You have to plan things around your dog. If you
yeah,
want to travel or do certain things, you do have to plan. And it's there's expense involved. It's like having another child, and it's not for everybody. If you can't financially, if you if you cannot financially take care of a dog, don't get one.
correct. I agree with that completely.
Yeah,
Kim
because
Lengling has been our guest. I've been talking to you for well over an hour and 40 minutes, my dear.
look at us.
Look, and you're back in Pennsylvania, so it's time for dinner. It's past time for dinner.
Well, yeah, it's about 20 till 8 p.m. Yeah.
Yes, yes, indeed. So go to KimLenglingAuthor.com and you can find out all the information you need to about her. Go to her website, Let Fear Bounce. Um, they can just go to their favorite podcast site, right? And
Oh
get it.
yeah, yeah. It's on Apple and Spotify. All the regular normal stuff. You can literally just Google "Let Fear Bounce" and you'll find it somewhere.
Yeah, which is really cool. And um, I really appreciate you, and I really like what you're doing. So just keep on keeping on.
Okay, you do the same thing, man.
Yes, indeed. Wait right there. I'll be right back. Hey, thanks for enjoying this episode all the way to the end. Please give us a like and subscribe to this channel. This has been a production of PositiveTalkRadio.net. Please visit our website, oddly named PositiveTalkRadio.net, for more details about us and our mission, which is to provide great positive programming designed to inspire us all. I'm Kevin McDonald, and I'm proud of these shows, and I truly hope that you'll like them and share them with friends and family. So on behalf of our entire team, remember, be kind